When I first started training, I relied almost entirely on bursts of motivation. I would watch an inspiring video or hear a song that got me fired up, and suddenly I felt ready to crush a workout. But those peaks didn't last, and my progress stalled whenever the initial excitement wore off. I realized that motivation is inherently temporary. It ebbs and flows with moods and circumstances. Results, however, come from showing up and putting in the work day after day, even when that initial spark has faded. This presentation explores why discipline consistently doing what needs to be done outperforms fleeting motivation. Let's begin by examining the trap that waiting for motivation creates, because understanding that trap is the first step toward escaping it. Many people delay action until they feel ready. We tell ourselves we'll start dieting on Monday or begin a new program when the stars align. The problem with this mindset is that motivation behaves like the weather. It changes without warning. When we wait for the perfect mood or the right song, our training becomes sporadic and inconsistent. One day we're all in, and the next we're looking for excuses. This pattern breeds frustration and keeps us from developing habits that drive real progress. Recognizing this motivation trap was a turning point for me. I realized that waiting to feel inspired meant I was surrendering my progress to something I couldn't control. To break free, we need to understand what motivation actually is and why it's unreliable. Motivation is often portrayed as a fuel, but in reality, it's an emotion, like happiness or anger. It can appear suddenly and disappear just as quickly. It's influenced by sleep, stress, work, weather, and countless other factors. Because it's an emotional state, it can't be summoned on demand. You might feel a burst of motivation one morning and nothing the next, even if your goals haven't changed. Relying on this unpredictable feeling to determine whether you train sets you up for inconsistency. Recognizing motivation as an unreliable ally helps us see the need for something sturdier. To build that stable foundation, we have to adopt a mindset that operates independent of feelings. That mindset is called discipline, and it's the antidote to motivation's volatility. Discipline isn't about being harsh with yourself, it's about committing to a course of action and following through no matter how you feel. It means showing up for your workout even when you're tired or stressed because you've made a promise to yourself. Discipline is a skill that anyone can develop through repetition. The more you stick to your plan, the easier it becomes to act without debating whether you feel like it. Unlike motivation, discipline doesn't depend on mood. It's simply doing what you know is necessary. When I shifted from chasing feelings to building discipline, my results changed dramatically. Now that we understand the difference, let's explore why discipline consistently beats motivation when it comes to achieving our goals. Discipline wins because it's repeatable. When you commit to a plan and execute it daily, your actions become habits. Over time, those habits compound, creating momentum. Small, consistent behaviors, preparing meals, showing up for every training session, logging your progress, stack up to produce significant results. In contrast, motivation leads to occasional bursts of effort that rarely string together long enough to form habits. Discipline isn't glamorous, it's often mundane, but that steadiness is its power. It allows you to progress even on days when enthusiasm is low. Once you see how discipline builds habits that drive progress, you begin to adopt the mindset of a serious lifter. That mindset is characterized by showing up and executing the plan daily, which we'll discuss next. A serious lifter doesn't skip sessions because of a busy day or a lack of excitement. They prioritize training and respect the schedule they've set. This mindset isn't about perfection, it's about consistency. They view each workout as part of a long-term project rather than an isolated event. That means following a program, tracking their lifts, and making incremental improvements. They understand that progress comes from showing up, not from waiting for the perfect day. Adopting this mindset allowed me to replace excuses with execution. It also taught me that maintaining consistency is more important than chasing high-intensity bursts. We'll explore why consistency beats occasional intensity in the next slide, and how that principle applies to building strength and fitness. It's tempting to believe that one epic workout can compensate for a week of missed sessions. In reality, fitness is built through accumulation, small efforts repeated over time. Completing your programmed sets and reps, getting enough sleep, and eating balanced meals day after day will yield more progress than occasional marathon sessions. Consistency allows your body to adapt gradually and safely, reducing the risk of injury and burnout. Intense efforts have their place, but without a consistent foundation, they become isolated peaks with no lasting impact. When you prioritize consistency, progress feels more sustainable. To support that consistency, it helps to remove barriers and simplify decision-making. That's where routines come in. and we'll discuss their role next. Routines are powerful because they remove the need to negotiate with yourself. When you have a predetermined time to train, a set sequence of warm-up movements, and a meal plan in place, you don't waste mental energy deciding what to do. This reduction in decision fatigue makes it easier to stick to your program. A consistent structure also signals to your mind and body that it's time to switch into training mode. Over time, routines become automatic, which frees up willpower for other tasks. By creating a structured environment, you set yourself up for success on autopilot. A simple way to start building a routine is by developing a pre-workout ritual, a repeatable sequence that cues your mind and body for training. Let's look at how to build one. A pre-workout ritual could be as simple as making your shake, warming up with mobility drills, and listening to a specific playlist at the same time each day. The key is consistency. Performing the same steps in the same order conditions your body and mind to prepare for effort. This ritual becomes a cue that signals it's time to train. Over time, the act of starting your ritual creates a cascade of readiness. Your heart rate picks up, your focus sharpens, and your body activates. Because it's automatic, you don't have to wait for motivation. By committing to this process, you set the stage for consistent execution. To understand why this works, we need to examine the power of rituals and how they reduce reliance on willpower. Rituals work because they harness the brain's capacity for conditioning. When you pair a specific sequence of actions with a training session over and over, your nervous system starts to anticipate what comes next. The process becomes habitual and requires less conscious thought. This automatic response reduces your dependence on motivation because you're no longer debating whether to train. You're simply following a pattern. Rituals also give you a sense of control and predictability, which lowers stress and anxiety about training. By embedding your workout in a routine, you free yourself from having to feel like it. Once you have this structure, you can look at other tools like supplements that can enhance performance without becoming a crutch. Let's explore how supplements function as tools rather than solutions. Once you have a consistent training routine, supplements can help you optimize your efforts. Ingredients like creatine, beta-alanine, and caffeine have research supporting their ability to boost strength, buffer fatigue, or sharpen focus. In that sense, supplements act as tools. You use them intentionally to enhance specific aspects of your workouts. They can make a tough session feel more manageable or help you push a little harder. However, their impact is additive, not transformative. They support the work you're already doing rather than replacing it. Viewing supplements as tools keeps expectations realistic and reminds you that the foundation of performance comes from training, nutrition, and recovery. To keep perspective, it's equally important to recognize what supplements are not. Supplements aren't magic potions that compensate for inconsistent training or poor nutrition. No amount of pre-workout will make up for skipping sessions or sleeping 4 hours a night. They also shouldn't be seen as shortcuts to circumvent discipline. Believing that a supplement alone will unlock progress sets you up for disappointment. I've learned that supplements work best when used to fine-tune an already solid program. They add, not replace. Keeping this perspective helps prevent over-reliance on products and encourages you to invest your energy where it matters most: execution and recovery. With that in mind, let's talk about how to use pre-workout correctly so it serves as a purposeful aid rather than a bandage. Using pre-workout effectively means incorporating it as part of your routine rather than as a last-minute boost. Take it at a consistent time before training to allow the ingredients to peak when you need them. Choose formulas that contain evidence-based doses of ingredients like caffeine, citrulline, or beta-alanine, and match the dose to your tolerance. If your goal is to enhance endurance or mental focus, pick a product that prioritizes those benefits. Don't double scoop randomly. Understand that more isn't always better. By using pre-workout intentionally, you ensure that it supports your session without becoming a crutch. Once you've integrated discipline and supplements in a thoughtful way, you can see how they combine to create a system. When you pair a disciplined approach with smart supplementation, you build a system that's both structured and supported. Discipline provides the consistency and commitment. Supplements provide specific physiological benefits that help you execute your plan. For example, taking creatine daily saturates muscle stores, enabling higher intensity work, while caffeine taken pre-workout sharpens focus and reduces perceived effort. Together, they reinforce each other. You have the plan and the tools to execute. This synergy transforms training from a series of random efforts into a system. It also removes reliance on motivation because you have a clear structure and resources that aid your performance. Next, we'll look at how this disciplined system-based approach delivers a long-term advantage over those who rely on inspiration alone. Over months and years, discipline compounds like interest. Each training session, each well-balanced meal, and each night of quality sleep builds on the last, The result is a clear upward trajectory of strength, endurance, and physique improvements. In contrast, those who train only when motivated see their progress plateau because they restart as often as they push forward. Consistent lifters accrue small gains that add up to big changes. They also avoid the setbacks that come with inconsistency, such as loss of strength or increased injury risk. When you experience the compounding effect of discipline, it becomes obvious why it outweighs the fleeting highs of motivation. To preserve those gains, we must also be aware of what breaks progress, which we'll address next. Progress stalls when we let inconsistency creep into our routines. Skipping workouts or deviating from a meal plan because we don't feel it resets the habit loop. Each break makes it harder to reestablish momentum and easier to find excuses the next time. Likewise, depending on motivation to carry us through tough training phases sets unrealistic expectations. When motivation inevitably wanes, we're tempted to skip sessions altogether or replace disciplined work with quick fixes. Over time, these lapses add up and can erase hard-earned gains. Recognizing these pitfalls allows us to shore up our habits and strengthen our systems. By addressing inconsistency, we prepare ourselves for a deeper transformation, the shift from casual lifter to disciplined athlete. An identity shift occurs when you stop seeing training as something you dabble in and begin seeing yourself as an athlete. This doesn't mean competing at a professional level. It means embracing the mindset that training, nutrition, and recovery are integral parts of your lifestyle. When you make that shift, discipline becomes part of who you are, not just what you do. You plan your days around your sessions and treat rest and nutrition as essential components of performance. You also see supplements as tools that help you execute, not as magical solutions. This shift fosters accountability and pride. Once you embrace this identity, you're ready to adopt a standard that reinforces it every day. At the heart of discipline is a straightforward standard. Show up, execute the plan, and repeat. It sounds simple, but it's the foundation of every success story. Showing up means honoring your training appointments and nutrition commitments even when you're tired or busy. Executing means following through with the exercises, loads, and rest periods you've planned instead of improvising. Repeating means doing it again tomorrow, next week, and next month. This standard turns discipline into a lifestyle rather than a short-term challenge. It strips away complexity and gives you a clear daily directive. With this structure in place, you can confidently summarize the key principles we've discussed and apply them going forward. To wrap up, remember that discipline outperforms motivation because it's reliable and repeatable. Relying on fleeting feelings leads to inconsistency and frustration, whereas building habits through structured routines drives sustainable progress. Consistency, showing up, executing, and repeating creates the compounding effect that transforms your physique and performance over time. Supplements can enhance your efforts, but only when they're used intentionally within a disciplined framework. They support the system you've built rather than substitute for it. By adopting a no-excuses mindset, setting routines, and using evidence-based tools wisely, you put yourself on a path to long-term success. Embrace discipline, and the results you seek will follow.